Hello, and welcome to Zap the Gender Pay Gap, the podcast series where we expose the elephant in the room. The elephant's name, the gender pay gap. I am coming to you from Memphis, Tennessee, located on the banks of the mighty Mississippi River. Nestled in the southwest corner of the state, Memphis is home to the blues, barbecue, and so much more. I am your host, Gwendolyn Tucker.
Thank you so very much for joining me for this episode of Zap the Gender Pay Gap. I am your host, Gwendolyn Tucker. May is International Victorious Women Month. Approximately 20 years ago, 18 to be exact, in 2005, Anne Marie Kelly authored the book Victorious Women. In her book, Anne Marie shared stories about 9 women who were able to shape the challenges they faced in their lives into personal victories. What started as a mere idea became a book, which mushroomed into a workshop, then a full-blown project, and eventually became an internationally recognized month. This book launched a movement to help women create better lives and to recognize that women are constantly emerging victorious in a variety of situations. Thus, in 2006, May was declared as International Victorious Women Month. As I have shared in previous episodes, I created this podcast series to cast a spotlight on this elephant in the room, the one that's managing to eat our lunch. I do this by doing 3 things. 1, to expose the elephant in the room, to make it visible, to uncover it, and to reveal its true nature. 2, to disclose some pertinent facts about this elephant in the room, which may previously have been unknown or kept secret. And then 3, to dispose of the effects of this elephant in the room, to get rid of it and to do away with it. And I don't want to stop at casting a spotlight on this elephant. I want to cast this elephant clean out of the territory. When it comes to zapping the gender pay gap, what woman doesn't want to be victorious? My goal is to show women how to be victorious and not stay trapped in the gender pay gap. As I looked more deeply into International Victorious Women Month, why it was created, and its relevance today, I thought of the book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Sun spelled just like the sun in the sky, and Tzu is spelled Tzu. If you haven't read the book, please do. I read it several years ago, and it contains great insights. Sun Tzu was a military strategist and philosopher. Here's a quote from his book. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the results of 100 battles. So when it comes to the gender pay gap, the question is, who is my enemy? Actually, there can be more than one. True, your biggest enemy is this Goliath in the room named the gender pay gap. It manages to take a big chunk out of a woman's paycheck every payday. It's not partial and it has no favorites. All women in the workplace are negatively impacted by it, some to a greater degree than others, but negatively impacted all the same. As far back as 2005, Dr. Evelyn Murphy estimated that a woman will lose between $700,000 and $2 million in her lifetime. In today's dollars, that equates to almost $943,000 on the low end and $3.1 million in purchasing power on the high end. In her book, Getting Even, Why Women Don't Get Paid Like Men and What to Do About It, Dr. Murphy confirmed that the gender pay gap affects the daily life of women throughout the country at every economic level, from cashier to CEO. It was true then in 2005, and it is still true today. Actually, the average female to male earnings ratio has hovered between 80 to 83% since 2004. You do the math. For almost 20 years, the gender pay gap has hovered between 17 and 20%. Women, we really do work hard for our money. I say it's time to take home all of it. So you may be asking yourself, what's with all this talk of war? What does International Victorious Women Month have to do with Sun Tzu? I'm very glad you asked. Victorious women are skilled in the art of war. They understand that it takes the right strategy and tactics to win victories. To overcome struggles and turn them into wins requires putting forth effort. I say that going after your fortune requires three things: faith, fortitude, and facts. Said another way, the formula for fortune equals F to the third power. Faith that it's worth it, the time and effort, but more importantly, that you're worth it. It takes fortitude, the ability to stick with it, to stay in the fight, to be undaunted and fearless and fierce as you go after your fortune. And then it takes facts, supporting evidence to back up your case. I like this quote by Sun Tzu: every battle is won before it is fought. Since you work hard for your money, why not take home all of it? Going after your fortune will require taking calculated risk, which is a chance taken after careful consideration of the probable outcome. Sun Tzu says it this way: ponder and deliberate before you make a move. Ponder and deliberate before you make a move. The concept of calculated risk dates back to World War II, when military leaders would estimate the cost of failure of a military action and weigh it against the possible rewards of if the mission is successful. Here's another quote from The Art of War that supports that thought: victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. In other words, preparation is a big key to success. Again, ponder and deliberate before you make a move. In essence, this means war. The elephant is kicking our pockets, and I'm not okay with that. The question is, are you? I say that armed with confidence, courage, and certainty, you can emerge victorious over this elephant in the room called the gender pay gap and not remain a victim of it. And during International Victorious Women Month, I'm calling for victorious women to step up to the plate. My hope is that you will see yourself counted as one in the number who will forge ahead to make a night and day difference in your life by increasing your pay and ultimately increasing your purchasing power over your lifetime. Despite and amid the hardship you face, may you muster up the courage to take steps toward zapping your gender pay gap. Now, the question is, in what way am I my own worst enemy? In what way am I standing in the way of my own progress? Am I my own worst enemy, or am I my own best advocate? The elephant is an eating machine. It's eating our lunch. Now, many are unaware of the extent to which this beast is impacting our pay and ultimately our lifestyles. I'm not going to stop at casting a spotlight on this elephant. I'm going to cast this elephant clean out of the territory. Because when it comes to zapping the gender pay gap, what woman doesn't want to be victorious? My goal is to show women how to be victorious and not stay trapped in the gender pay gap. Don't be a woman caught unawares, unknowingly or unwittingly trapped in the gap. I'm looking for women who are not okay with it, who are ready to do something about it. Now, it's one thing to know, but the question is, now that you know, what will you do about it? During the entire month of May, I'm sending out a call for some victorious women. Will you be one who answers the call? I do hope you will join me next time as I disclose how you can emerge victorious over this thing called the gender pay gap. Because you work so hard for your money, I want to show you how to take home all of it. Thanks so much for listening. See you next Wednesday at noon Central Standard Time for the next episode of Zap, the Gender Pay Gap. Until next time, be well.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Zap, the Gender Pay Gap. Please rate, review, and subscribe to or follow me wherever you get your favorite podcast. I am your host, Gwendolyn Tucker. Thanks so much for listening. See you next time.